What's going on, everybody? We're very excited about this. Today, we have your weekly AI and tech news. Got a lot to cover today when it comes to what's been happening this week. Honestly, we're not even going to be able to cover everything. We could sit here for 5 hours if we're going to do that. But as always, we're going to make sure that we cover the most important pieces of news that has happened this week. So it's been a couple weeks since we've done this. We took a little bit of a break, mainly because we had our Grown and Techie event just a couple Saturdays ago. Let us know in the chat who all came out to the Grown and Techie event. Let us know who's coming to the next one. That's going to be on April 12th. The event was completely packed out. It sold out days in advance. Unfortunately, there was about 100 people that still showed up, even though they didn't have their tickets. They were trying to get tickets at the door. We unfortunately have to turn those people away. So the next location we're going to be at will have more space. Nevertheless, it still will sell out. We've already gotten over 70 tickets secured for this next one. So this one's already on pace to sell out even faster than the last one. So for everyone who's interested, click the link in the description down below. So that way you can go ahead and get your access to the Grown and Techie event. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. eBank says, I was there and really enjoyed it. Hey, what's up, eBanks? Happy you're able to come out. So just a little bit about the next one, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. A little bit about the next one, the next Grown and Techie event. So the last one, the main focus was on AI. It was on AI as it relates to careers and as it relates a little bit about business, but mainly careers. This next one is focused on crypto millionaires. Now, I know that might seem like that doesn't relate to everyone. I'm going to tell you, whatever we do at Grown and Techie, it always relates to whatever it is that you're doing. The event isn't going to focus on the traditional sense of just investing in crypto technology, but it's actually going to highlight working at crypto tech companies, which no one online talks about. Everyone's talking about investing in crypto. No one's talking about making six figures working at these companies or the fact that crypto is technology. And so that's one component of it. And then there's another secret component of what's going to happen at the event, where everyone at the event is going to leave the event making money. So it's going to be a huge opportunity. It's going to be 3 different sectors we're going to talk about at the event. It's going to be incredibly beneficial. Obviously, we also are going to talk about some AI as it relates to crypto technology, which is something else people don't really talk about. It's going to be well worthwhile. Again, make sure that y'all get your access by clicking the link in the description below. Of course, the queen of AI herself, Ash, is going to be there. So make sure y'all pull up. Make sure y'all, flick it up with her. All of that. Tell your friends, all of that, so that way y'all can come out and it'll be a really great time. That being said, Ronan says Dallas, Texas in the building. eBank says I would definitely be at the next one. It's going to be great. We're really excited. We're really excited about the next one. So that being said, y'all, my apologies. I did not do a good job of introducing, first and foremost, a wonderful co-host, Ash herself, Ashley. She, again, I said earlier, she's the queen of AI. She's a founder, but both works in the tech industry, a founder of Wearable AI Tech. Ashley, tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the tech news.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome guys for the Saturday news. I am Ash and I specialize in AI solutions and also the founder of wearable technology startup Better Boost. So you guys can connect with me at the Garden of Ash or on LinkedIn. And so I'm really excited to, really discuss all the crazy things that are happening right now in real time. So thank you, Cyrus, for the intro.
Hey, look, let me know in the comments a couple things. One, what y'all do in tech or what you want to do in tech if you're not in tech already. And the second thing, what is the craziest piece of tech news that you heard from this week? There's a lot of crazy things that have happened, a lot of shifting that's going on in the market and in the industry. It's a lot we could cover. Again, we're only going to be able to cover what we have the time to cover, but I want to know from y'all, what are some other pieces of tech news that you believe people should know about? Drop it in the comments, so that way it might be something we can end up talking about on a sideline, or it could just be really good nuggets that can educate everybody else here for everyone else to kind of check out the news you'll share. Excuse me, I was kind of struggling on that last piece. All right, cool. So look, let's go ahead and get into it. So first piece of news we're going to talk about is from NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang. Again, for those of y'all that are here regular, y'all know who at this point who NVIDIA is. Y'all know who Jensen Huang is. We talked about them and what they've been doing. But we also talked recently about the quantum computing. Now, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, recently said that quantum computing won't be very useful for another 15 to 30 years. leading to a sharp decline in stock prices of the quantum computing companies. Now, while some see this as a reality check, others argue that quantum breakthroughs could come faster than expected, especially with companies like IBM and Google making progress in the space. Now, the hype around quantum computing has been enormous, with many believing it will solve problems that classical computers never could, from drug discovery to encryption breaking. So, my question for you all: is quantum computing still the near future, or is it just an overhyped tech trend that won't deliver anytime soon? What do y'all think? Do y'all believe he had another reason to share this? And actually, I want to ask that to Ash. Do you believe that Jensen Huang, like, do you believe he shared this because he's really trying to help people out, or do you believe that he has an ulterior motive to calm people down when it comes to quantum computing?
I think that the competition is heating up. As you mentioned, Google and all these other companies are competing, creating quantum computing devices. And so it's pretty inevitable. I mean, when we're talking about compute power, quantum computing is going to be something where we're going to gain ASI, artificial super intelligence. And so maybe he's just trying to, slow their roll a little bit so that the people can catch up. But I do think that inevitably, it's just I'm not really sure what's going on that they're trying to, halt the brakes. Perhaps it's just too rapid of innovation that's happening right now. What do you think?
It's it's really strange because on one end, if he's telling the truth, it's kind of like, why would you say that? Because doesn't that hurt your business? Doesn't that hurt your investors? So that's why I feel like, because it's like there's like there's people that lie, like there's lying, there's telling the truth, and then there's just omitting certain information, which isn't necessarily lying, but it's just you're not sharing things that could hurt you. I don't understand why he would share this, because on surface level, y'all let me know in the comments if any of you know, or if any of you speculate a reason why he would say this. Because it's one thing for him to lie, you know, but he wouldn't lie about this, because lying about this, based on what we know about Nvidia, based on what I know about Nvidia, lying about this would only hurt Nvidia. But on the flip side, if he's telling the truth, it also doesn't help Nvidia. So I feel as if usually this would be something that someone would omit, but for him to just come out and say this, knowing that at the end of the day, as noble as all of these CEOs act, whether we're talking Sam Altman, as virtuous as they all seem, at the end of the day, they are all in it for their companies to win. Like, let's not get it twisted. All of them want their companies to win. Even even Elon Musk, him doing the whole thing where he allowed all the other companies to be able to get access, or basically he allowed I think it was the charging stations for Tesla. Excuse me, not the charging stations, but he allowed, like, basically he has no patent on the technology for Tesla. There's no patent on it, which means everyone's been able to copy them freely without Tesla being able to sue them. And as noble as these things might seem, there always is an ulterior motive. There's something else behind it that benefits them. The reason why, because even the most noble person, they still have a boss, and their boss are their investors. They're big investors. So whether we're talking to Elon Musk, whether we're talking to Sam Altman, whether we're talking to Jensen Huang, it doesn't matter how many billions these people own. At the end of the day, they are at the mercy, more in most case scenarios, they are at a bit of the mercy of their investors. So I personally wouldn't understand why he would say this unless there is an ulterior motive. It's just I can't wrap my head around what that ulterior motive would be. But again, this doesn't benefit them. On surface, it doesn't. So that's why I feel like there has to be, because, like, if I'm an investor, like, I'm not talking about the level of investments I have, but I mean like a big time investor. If I'm an investment firm, they would come for Jensen Huang's head if this is not something they're comfortable with him sharing. So I'm curious. Let me see what y'all are talking about. What y'all are talking about in the comments. See if anybody has any input on this. AI and quantum computing are twins. Yeah, they definitely are very, very close relatives. Yeah, fraternal twins. Perfect. Fraternal twins. They're not identical. They're definitely fraternal. That's perfect. All right, doesn't look like anybody has any input on this. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting to see. I wonder what the like. Why would he even share this?
Right?
There has to be a reason why. Because again, it's I could see it, there just is no in my head. And I know y'all see me malfunctioning right now because I'm just really trying to. I can't even come up with a theory as to why he would share this. It just doesn't seem to make sense at all, and that's why it's throwing me completely for a loop. And so, definitely want to hear from y'all if anybody has, even if it's a theory. So, as y'all know, there's sometimes we talk about things where we know what it is. There's other times where we have a theory behind it, and then every now and again, there is just something where we've just kind of just hit a wall, and it's like, yo, we're really kind of talking, trying to flesh it out. But I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out later on, or maybe we'll just have to wait until the truth reveals itself as to why he decided to share this information. But anyway, that being said, Ash, going to go ahead and pass it over to you for the next piece of tech news.
Yeah, well, I think this is perfect to start with to piggyback off of that. When we're talking about companies delaying major innovations, Apple is also delaying the launch of their AI enhanced Siri. So what's that doing? Essentially, it was supposed to be released this year. However, this is pretty unusual for the company itself. It's raising some questions about their competitiveness and also, of course, the rapidly evolving AI landscape. So when we're looking into exactly real life implications, this could mean that customers are going to need to adjust their expectations and timelines for assessing all of this advanced technology, but also competitors are going to be able to capitalize on this delay. And so when we see companies like NVIDIA shifting and Apple shifting to delay some of these technologies, we have to ask ourselves why, right? Um, Perhaps things are moving too quickly. Like Cyrus mentioned earlier, how, especially with quantum computing, we're getting into limitless drug discovery. So now they can cure almost anything. Maybe, they're trying to take a little ethical stand and, halt the progress towards artificial superintelligence where AI surpasses human capacity. So it's definitely a very interesting time. I'm interested to see what you guys think. What do you guys think about a future where anything can be cured, any ailment, any condition? This is the future where we're going. So tap in, you guys. This is the craziest
So I
time to be alive. What do you think?
I have two thoughts on it. So I have a thought on each piece of what you shared. So one, what the hell is going on with Apple? Like, every single week, every time we do an AI tech news, there's a new update of something Apple claimed. Like every time we do an update, or every time we do a tech news stream, we talk about something that Apple said they're about to release, and or we talk about the fact that they canceled the thing they said they were going to release. We did this with the Apple Car. We did this with the Apple Provision AI Provision goggles. We're doing it with this. There's one other thing I can't remember. There's a fourth thing. Like Apple is having this crazy trend of announcing they're coming out with something and then canceling it. It's like, what is going on with them? But you know what's more impressive to me is not just how much they keep announcing, because to announce that you're doing something, like when these billion-dollar companies announce they're doing something, by the time they make the announcement, it's usually because they have like put ample research behind it, and they have determined as a team, as a company, hey, we're going to do this thing, and then they announce it. It's very rare that these companies announce something that they haven't made sure 110% they're actually going to go through with. Usually when they cancel it, it's because they've been working on it, they've been trying to push it, and it just wasn't working. So at some point they gave up on it. It's like they're the polar opposite of Meta, where Meta actually tests things out in the market for a while before they finally say, you know what, no one likes this, we're just going to go ahead and cancel it. And it's that's strange to me that they do that, because as a I'm not even billion-dollar company, they're valued at, I believe, $3 trillion. As a company that's valued at trillions of dollars, it's interesting to me that this isn't causing their stocks to plummet. That investors aren't like, what the hell are y'all doing? Y'all keep making announcements, then y'all ending. The only thing Apple has been doing has been the same stuff over and over for years, where they announce they're working on something new and it gets everybody excited, and then they just stop or they shelve it. And
Yeah.
so it's That's interesting. The other thing to me that's interesting is I believe this is a lesson for all of us, that having a successful business isn't even about you having the latest and greatest product. Sometimes it truly is just your branding and your marketing. Because since the passing of Steve Jobs, like, what has Apple really created? But the interesting thing, if anyone has watched their stock and their value has only increased. So it's like in the past nearly decade, they have not really created anything new. They have not really innovated in any way, yet their brand is so strong. They continue to grow in popularity. If anything, they announce they're going to do something, get people excited, and then they shelve it. So this truly should be something that should open all of our eyes to realize, yo, I don't have to create the newest thing. Sometimes, marketing, branding really is the it thing sometimes, even aside from innovation. Now, of course, you still got to deliver, still got to have like quality. They got quality products. It's just they're not innovating in any kind of way. So I don't know. That's actually crazy to me. But to the other piece you said, where you talked about a future where technology will be able to allow us to cure diseases and any type of ailments. I had a conversation with a friend recently where she was saying that she doesn't believe that anyone would ever allow that because the pharmaceutical industry is so powerful. But what I actually believe, I have a theory, and I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments. I have a theory when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry. We know they're in the business of people being sick and people paying for their drugs. They're not in the business of curing people, because a cured patient is a lost customer, basically. Nevertheless, like any business, they want a customer to keep using their product for as long as possible. And what the pharmaceutical industry doesn't like is when someone dies. Because when someone dies, that is still a lost customer. Whether you cure someone or someone dies, that's a lost customer. What
Yeah.
they want longevity. They want a customer that's going to live a long life, but will need their products. But again, it's very hard for them to balance that with drugs. My theory is that they're going to use AI to come up with a better drug, and better drug depending on whatever the ailment or issue is. But they'll have AI come up with better drugs that won't fully cure people, but it'll it'll cure them in a better sense, or it'll fix their ailments, or it'll fix their what's the word? Como se dice? Uh, what's the, I've been speaking so much Spanish. I'm starting to forget English words. I've been noticing that. Uh, uh, what is it? Not when you're sick, but what is it when you have a cough? Like, having a cough doesn't necessarily mean you have a cold. A cough is just a what is it? What is it called? Like, somebody help me in the comments. I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now. So a symptom is what I'm looking for. The word symptom. So it's a symptom of a cold. Or you can also have a cough because of something else. But a cough is just a symptom. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a cold. It could be a symptom of something else.
Right.
Nevertheless, they would want to use, I believe they're going to want to use AI to come up with something that will fix the symptoms and will keep the person from actually dying, but
Mhm.
it won't fully heal the person. Thank you. Somebody came in. Thank you, Trey Days. 2 minutes later. Now I'm playing, but appreciate that. Yeah, so I don't believe they're going to want people cured, but they also don't want people to pass. So I believe they're going to have AI come up with something that's able to temporarily fix the person's problem, which is what a lot of drugs do already, but it'll just do a better job, and it'll actually keep the person alive, because they don't want people fully cured, but they also don't want people fully healed. But also, their brand right now in the market is so horrible. The pharmaceutical, like, everyone looks at the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, look at what just happened, with your boy who off the, who off the CEO, the pharmaceutical CEO, and how everyone's championing him, and they're like, wow, he's so amazing. And so I believe we're going to see a shift with the pharmaceutical industry, similar to what we saw with the tobacco industry, where in the 90s, people finally started realizing, yo, cigarettes are horrible for you. These things are unaliving people. So what did they do? They didn't disappear. They rebranded themselves into hookah. And now everyone's going to hookah bars doing hookah. And it's like hookah's worse for you, but it hasn't caught up in the branding or the market yet. People aren't talking about how bad hookah is when hookah's worse. So it's like, likewise, I believe the pharmaceutical industry, they're going to use technology to flip. That's what I believe. Or a tech company could legitimately be out to just cure people, and maybe they'll just charge more versus charging the bit they charge per drug. That's another way, business wise. Instead of charging a little bit long term, you could charge a lot for like a one-time purchase of the cure. I don't know. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Some people talking in the comments. Ashley, did you see any comments that you wanted to address?
Oh yeah, great points here. So prevention is more important than the cure. That's exactly what you were saying. So they're not trying to cure the symptom itself, and so this is going to be really interesting to see exactly what the medical industry is going to do. We know that we now have gene editing technology, CRISPR. So now there may be a future where nobody, gets sick in the future, those future generations. And so most definitely interesting. So the Jedi says it's a market maneuver to create volatility, but at the same time, it's a forced semi-pause. There's a big push to create an internal agreed upon framework for AI. Maybe they're trying to slow it down so they can all get on the same path, right? Yeah. I think that they're obviously competing with each other to become number one. I think especially with Chinese companies who are now dominating in the space, that there's a lot more reason for a lot of these companies to come together. However, now we have the government involved.
Yeah.
And with them being involved, now we have additional security protocols and control that is going to happen. So, that's going to be interesting to see play out as well. So Joel says, I'm honestly not surprised with Apple. It keeps sounding like they're holding back or planning something else. Not sure what exactly, right? So hopefully they figure that out for the sake of their brand long term. Jedi says, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead and keep reading the comments.
So Jedi says Apple created a brilliant cult-like ecosystem, and they did. I mean, most of us have iPhones. I don't see myself changing anytime soon. So most definitely, they have good products. However, it can also improve. Um, so also says just the thought, real cures are on the horizon. Pharmaceutical companies may begin to dominate the food industry, attempting to create healthier food, thus creating the problem and the cure.
You
Might be
might be
on to
right.
something.
You might be right. I
Hmm.
think Trapdoor says, yeah, I think you're wrong on this too. Med about to be great. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. There's definitely a theory that I have. And I mean, to that point, as we think about the current administration, and I know I try not to delve too much into political stuff because it's a very emotional topic. Nevertheless, let's talk about it. It's the current administration. It's really strange to watch what's happening because it's like on one end, it's like, okay, are Trump and Elon truly, because on paper, it really does look as if they are exposing everything. And it does seem as if, for the most part, at least their actions and activities are going to turn out for the betterment of Americans and maybe the rest of the world and society. On the flip side, as we always talk about, it's like, okay, what are the ulterior motives? And part of me thinks, okay, well, Trump's ulterior motive, and again, let's keep it on topic. We talk about technology and we talk about the effects of technology with the world and America. There is a possibility that Trump's ulterior motive solely is to make America number one, which in and of itself is not a noble thing. So let's be very clear about that. Which again, I'm American. I want America to be number one. So I'm not saying that I disagree. I just am also saying that knowing that we want that, that's not a noble thing. That is a bit of a selfish thing. But hey, it is what it is. That being said, we know Elon's motive, you know, I think he has a duality motive. One of his motives, of course, are as a business owner, he wants his companies to be the most successful, the top companies. His other motive, at least when he was younger, when he was a child, his motive was to save the world and make us an interplanetary species. And part of that, of course, involves AI and robotics, and everything he's doing with SpaceX. That being said, if those are their intentions, there is a possibility, going back to what some of the comments have said, there is a possibility they might allow a company, a tech company or AI company, to actually come up with cures for these sicknesses. There is a possibility of that, especially if, because at the end of the day, as powerful as the pharmaceutical industry is, most of their power is not in their money anymore, because the tech industry has just as much money. It's like they could go band for band. Like, what you want to do? And so it's not necessarily their money. Most of their power, as far as I know, has been wrapped up in the fact they've had their hands deeply woven into the political field. That they have a lot of politicians paid off. But if this current administration is honestly doing what they claim to be doing, and again, I'm not saying they are, I'm not saying they aren't, but if they are, I believe there is a possibility that they might eventually. Shoot, what is it? We on month two and a half, and they've been going crazy putting work in. Love them or hate them, they going ham. Like the work ethic is actually impressive. It's like, dang, they really going ham. That being said, I mean, if we got 3 years and 9 more months of this, that's plenty enough time for them to come for the pharmaceutical industry. For them to be like, all right, we don't dealt with y'all. Now let's turn and look at the pharmaceutical industry and what y'all are doing. So y'all might be right. Like, I could very well be wrong. There's a huge possibility that this administration does allow, because it's no question of, if there is a tech or AI company that has the desire to cure people using AI. There are people out there with like good hearts that eventually get corrupted, like Sam Altman's did. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Um, Sam Altman, if you watch this later on in the future, please still come on the podcast. That was just a joke. No, but jokes aside, though. So I believe we might actually see a cure for these diseases. I truly do. Let's continue on with some of these comments, and then we'll pass it over to the next topic. Ronan says, just oh wait. The word says Beats by Dre aren't the best, but yeah, that's another topic of how Apple took Beats by Dre and then took the technology, put it into the Apple AirPod Pros, and then shelved the Beats by Dre. That's a whole nother topic. Why they didn't continue building on it. Ronan says, just a thought, real cures are on the horizon. Pharmaceutical companies may begin to dominate the food industry. Oh yeah, we already addressed this topic. Good point, really good point. Trapdoor says, oh, I already addressed that. All right, Trey Day says, we need real bipartisanum. Oh, all right. I think you might have spelled it wrong. That's threw me off. We need real bipartisanism, if I'm even saying that right, to see this through. And sadly, it seems impossible because people just hate Trump and Elon. They don't see the bigger picture. Yet it is true. As much as I say this often, I don't like Trump and Elon. It's weird. It's like people don't know how to not like somebody, but still see some of what they're doing is good, and vice versa. People don't know how to like someone and still be able to see when they're doing something that's off and be like, yo, that's wild. It's like we're really weird, especially when it comes to politics, religion, or just when we're fans of people. It's like we're very strange in that way. I have to constantly catch myself with that and be like, yo, Cyrus, just because you like this person, yo, look at what they doing. And so that's something we should always evaluate as people. And that's a really good point, Trey. Rona says, we are living in some fast-paced, uncomfortable, and unpredictable times. Hope there's no punchline or rug pull coming. Yeah, I think about that constantly, how up until 100 years ago, let's say 200 years ago to be safe, when you were born, by the time you were born and by the time you passed away, there wasn't much advancements when it came to careers or technology. It's like when you were born 200 years ago and you said, hey, I want to be a blacksmith, you could be a blacksmith from your childhood all the way until your passing day. If you're like, oh, I want to be, a farmer, you could be a farmer from that point to that point. And the farming industry is still alive. But y'all get my point. It's like if there was something you wanted to do, there was no impending threat in terms of your career. But it's like today, I was looking at a police officer today on social media, and it was like a video, and it was a cop, and I was like, man, there's a possibility that robotics and AI could replace his career in the next 15, 20 years. And that's a strange thing. We're living in, and to your point, it's advancing so quickly. There is no such thing as truly a secure, nothing is truly secure. Like past 10 or 15 years, we can't really see past that. It's almost like Kang, if anybody watched Loki season 1. I didn't see season 2, but season 1, when Kang, let me know anybody in the comments who's as big a nerd as me or as big a nerd as I'm about to sound. When Kang was talking to Loki and Loki's doppelganger, the girl, I forget her name, when he was talking to them, Kang could see the future. Like, he could see everything. But then there was a certain point where something happened and he said, wait, I can't see the future anymore. And it's almost like that's like we've always, to some degree, have been able to see that we had a long-term future in whatever career we had. But now we're in a strange period where, yeah, we don't really know. And the thing is, no one knows. Elon doesn't know. It's not like there's a power that be behind the scenes where they know. Everyone is operating off of theory right now. And it's so strange. It's so strange. It's exciting at the same time too. let me know in the comment chat. What do y'all prefer? Do y'all prefer the monotony, the boredom, but the reassurance that whatever it is you're gonna go after and pursue is gonna be here for all of your days? Or do you like the gripping fear, the confusion, but the excitement? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what's gonna be here in the next 5 years? What's gonna be here? What technology is gonna be here next year that we're not even talking about? Because we weren't talking about quantum computing a year, 2 years ago. We weren't, aside from like movies and stuff. We weren't talking about super AI. I mean, Ash probably was a year, 2 years ago. But it's like such exciting times. Such exciting times. All right, let's go on to the
Yes.
next piece of news. Y'all got me going in the comments. All right, so next piece of news, AI is taking over dating apps. So Match Group, which is the parent company who bought out Tinder, Hinge, and OkCupid, is introducing AI-powered assistants to help users pick the best profile picture and craft messages that increase their chances of getting a response. This could mean no more awkward opening lines or bad photo choices, but it also raises concern about authenticity. Are people really connecting with each other or just AI generated personalities? If dating profiles become optimized by AI, does that make them more accurate or just more deceptive? So, my question finally is, will AI improve online dating, or are we moving toward a world where people date AI personas instead of real people?
Wow.
Ash, you the queen of AI. How would you feel if, and I know you don't have to do this, but how would you feel if you were on, let's say, OkCupid? Because Hinge and Tinder have a little bit of a bad reputation. Let's say you're on OkCupid. Would you feel a way if a guy's profile, if he used AI to help build out his profile, help come up with some clever lines, and maybe even come up with a clever line when he messaged you? Or would you be like, okay, I see you using AI and using tech? Or would you be like, nah, you gotta come at 100%, it has to all come from you?
Yeah, I love this question because there are two sides to the coin, right? Like one where people will be dating AI personas, like literally people who aren't even real, but also AI can know you better than you know yourself. So perhaps in the dating game, it would be able to better articulate and, secure the mates better than, an individual who a lot of people are not accustomed to that, face to face interaction. A lot of people are lacking that particular skill of communication in itself. So AI could be very helpful in this to bridge the gap, to give them a little bit more confidence. However, we don't want to overly rely on AI in that sense.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting because when I think about women, women love when a guy has a certain level of game, like where it's like, oh, he's smooth, he's confident. Because like it's interesting, women don't like when a man is too confident, because then it's like, oh, you do this all the time. You approach women all the time because you're too confident. But at the same time, they don't like when a guy is not confident, because then it's like, okay, you're not really sure of yourself. I need a man who's sure of himself. So it's like y'all like this happy medium of feeling a man is confident, but also feeling as if his approach to you is unique and not a line he's given to a lot of women. And
Right?
so the thing that's strange is that in order for a man to be confident, he has to approach several women. There's no man who goes a year or 2 years without approaching women, and then he sees a woman, he's confident, and he just has like a really solid approach. A dude who has a solid approach is a dude who's approaching at least a few women a week, and that's just what it is. I took a break one time, like almost a year break. I was in a long relationship, so I didn't approach any woman for like 2 years. I remember my first time approaching a woman in 2 years. I felt like I was malfunctioning. And what was crazy, I was like, what is going on? I was so good at this before I got in a relationship. But I realized you do get rusty. So to bring it to this topic, it's like guys today, like dating coaches are becoming very popular. I follow a few dudes on social media. They're homeboys of mine. I want to be very clear, y'all. I ain't following dating coaches. I need dating tips. But there's nothing wrong with somebody needs dating tips. There's a couple guys that I follow where they live in different parts of the world. And they're those guys. All they do is approach women. They just approach women. That's their whole brand, is they approach women and they show guys. They're called pickup artists. Let me know in the chat if y'all know of any pickup artists. So I'm cool with a couple of them, and they give guys tips. And sometimes I see women in the comments that are like mad that all of their kind of pickup artistry works, or they're mad that they're teaching guys how to do it. And it's like, ladies, y'all want guys to know how to approach y'all. These guys are teaching the everyday guy to be able to do it. It's like they're helping the fellas out, so that way y'all can, have more options of men that are more confident approaching. And so part of me wonders, I know that at the core of how most women are, that most women are going to be like, nah, dude, you got that line from AI. That wasn't original. But at the same time, again, it goes back to the argument of the only men who are really naturally good are men who've had a lot of practice. But at the end of the day, women, y'all like what y'all like. And we men, it's not up to us to convince y'all to like something different. It's gonna be interesting to see when women start realizing, like, oh, you approach me using AI. I wonder if it'll cause some breakups, or if it'll make a woman look at a man differently. And I wonder if we're gonna see men who are gonna constantly rely on AI to keep dating a woman. Because think about it, if you need AI to approach a woman, that means you're going to need AI to continue a conversation with her, usually, which usually means you're going to need AI to help you choose what date spot to take her to and what conversations to ask her on the date. And the list goes on and on and on. And so it goes back to the topic of what we talked about before, where it's like, where someone said in a post, I shared this our last stream, where technically we are all already cyborgs. Because all a cyborg is a living organism that relies on technology in order to survive. We can't survive without technology. Without our phones, we can't survive. Like, we just can't. And either way, we are cyborgs. So in reality, us leveraging AI, the more we leverage it, isn't us doing something we're not already doing. It's just basically us updating our software, where we're updating how we're using technology to use it in a more integrated way. But again, it's an interesting topic. Let's see what y'all are saying in the comments. I feel like Ash didn't like fully give an answer though. So Ash, if a guy approached you and y'all were dating, and then you found out 6 months down the line, let's say you kind of halfway fell in love with, not you in love, But you got the butterflies. You like, okay, it's my
Right. I'm
man.
feeling him. Yeah.
Exactly. And then 6 months later, he used AI for everything. That he used AI when he approached you. He used AI for when it came to the conversation, the questions he was asking you. That he didn't come up with them. It was AI that came up with them, and he was like, "Okay, that's good. I'm gonna use that." You found out the restaurants he took you to. AI told him to take you to those restaurants. Uh, Even the
Mm.
order. Let's say it's the order in which he introduced you to his friends, family. Let's say you found out everything was scripted by AI, but in his head, he tells you when you find out, he's like, but babe, I just didn't want to lose you. Like I saw you and just you're the type of woman I didn't want to mess anything up. What would you say?
Honestly, if it's enhancing the experience, he's getting the prime dating spots that he knows you're going to love. If he's, saying all the right things, I feel like I can't be mad at that. But at the same time, like if you get to know somebody one to one and like they're authentic, then I think that makes up for like if they're trying to use AI, if they're a little shy in the beginning, I think it's cool. As long as it's like used to enhance and not completely overtake, the
Mhm.
individual. Personally, like if he's making it better, then cool.
It's about to be real interesting out here in the next 5, 10 years. Real
Oh yeah.
interesting. All right, what y'all talk about in the comments? So Holly says there's always confusion about career, no matter which industry. Ronan says, I just had this conversation. The younger generation will love the AI combos. The older generations like myself crave real human experiences. That is true. If generations evolve to where they're used to using it the same way we're used to using other technology, it might not even be a weird thing to future generations. It might be the norm.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. Kamani says more deceptive. It can definitely be a hit or miss. There was a what's the name of that? What's the name of that show? Is it called?
Black
Because
Mirror.
Yeah, Black Mirror. Thank you. Yeah, because I was more of a Twilight Zone person because of my age, but Black Mirror. I think it was a Black Mirror episode, or it was another show, a spinoff show. But it was a show where it was a world where everybody was able to make themselves look different. Like they had a technology, and it would make them look different. Somebody let me know if that's Black Mirror or if it was something else. But it would make them look different. So and everybody looked like a supermodel. Like everyone looked
That was
gorgeous.
a movie, like The Uglies or something like that.
I haven't seen the Uglies yet. I haven't seen the
Oh,
Uglies
it's
yet.
not.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do plan on seeing it. So it's so that so it would make them look different. And there was a guy, so you of course you could see who the real person was and how the real person looked. And there's a guy who was short, wasn't attractive, was balding. He just didn't look good. But he was getting all these women, whenever he was his avatar. But he met this uh he had a neighbor who was next to him. Like every time he would come home and he'd be his regular self, he would go out on his balcony. He would look over and he'd see his neighbor. And she was like a cute girl, but she wasn't a model. And he ended up falling for, he went out, met this model girl. They fell for each other. And then whenever her thing was about to run low, she was like, I gotta go. Like, cause she was like, I can't let you see what I actually look like. And so she would run away. And he was out at a club one time with her, and he went in the bathroom. Someone bumped him, and his thing broke. And so everyone at the club saw what he actually looked like, and they were like, "Ugh!" Like women were like, "Ugh!" The same women that were like looking at him with flirty eyes were like, "Ugh, stay away from me." And he ended up running out of the club, and he left his date. And so later on, he apologized and said, "I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that happened." Fast forward, found out that the woman he fell in love with, was literally his next door neighbor. And the next door neighbor was always hiding her true self from him as well, because both of them thought the other person wouldn't like the person. And so I wonder if if there's going to be scenarios like that where somebody's AI, their AI breaks, and then they have to be their normal self. And it's like, it's weird to people. It's just really weird to people.
Yeah, most definitely. That's coming for sure. That's a great point, actually. And
Somebody,
Cyrus, are you paused on your end because it's paused on my end. I just want to
Can y'all hear
make
me? So
sure.
I'm frozen, but y'all can hear
Yeah, I
me.
can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you fine, but I think you may be
That's
frozen.
yeah. Somebody said Cyrus is froze like an ice cube. Trapdoor says no difference than being a part of a church or government. They tell you how to think and live. It's different. I see what you're saying, but it's definitely different. Is he about to sneeze? That's hilarious. I low key want to know what face I'm making right now. That's funny. All right, cool. Ash, we're gonna pass it over to you for the next piece of news.
All right, cool. I think you could just tap the video cam thing if you wanted to not be frozen anymore. Still frozen. Technical difficulties. So the show still goes on. So Cyrus is gonna be popping back in. All right.
I still.
So yeah, actually the screen is all black now. Not seeing
Oh wow.
anything. Technical
Muy,
difficulties. All good.
muy
All good.
interesante. Yeah.
Maybe if I okay. All right. Um, well, we can keep it going. We can keep it
Let's keep
rolling.
going.
All right, you guys. So you probably already heard Cyrus actually just posted about this, I believe, or we were just talking about it about how there's $20,000 AI agents that OpenAI is going to be deploying very, very soon. And so AI agents are changing the game. We're talking about replacing employees. We're talking about replacing the tasks that you do day to day with AI. I myself am looking into AI agents just because of the sheer necessity of it. So we got some competition, you guys. So China has an AI breakthrough with a company called a startup called Monica, and they recently released Manus. It's an AI agent that's going to be capable of independently planning and executing the most complex tasks. So this is going to be a development that's pretty close to DeepSeek. However, this is a more advanced innovation. And so this is a significant milestone in AI autonomy. This is changing the game, you guys. We're talking about automating intricate processes, reducing the need for human intervention, and also, of course, lowering operational costs. This Manus, I believe, is also free. So, they're taking the stage for affordable AI compute power. And instead of where OpenAI is charging exorbitant, insane amounts, they're, changing the game for everybody. So it's openly accessible. And so what we're looking for in real life, the applications of this is going to be where some tasks are going to be automated. So this is also going to bridge new roles that are going to be focusing on AI oversight and strategy. So imagine that, not only are we going to have new AI capacities, but also new AI jobs. And so in the future, OpenAI is trying to take all of the AI consultants roles or engineering roles. But if you guys are able to integrate and deploy these solutions, then inevitably you'll be in your bag. So these are key skills that you all need to learn. And so all in all, let's go ahead and talk about the ethical considerations. All right. So when we're talking about autonomous AI agents like Manus, this does raise questions about decision making and accountability. So you guys, if we're talking about an AI taking over your browser, doing different tasks, are you comfortable with it? Tap into the chat. If you are, deploying Manus or another AI agent, would you be comfortable with it taking over your browser overnight and just doing, whatever with it to execute the task? Let me know. Or are you hesitant?
Hell yes, I am.
Cyrus, yeah, I'm about to ask. So Cyrus is
Hell
down
yes.
for it.
Hell yes. Bring that ASAP. I need that now. What? All we're talking about is having 24/7 a 24/7 employee that doesn't get tired, that doesn't need breaks, that can update itself and get updated. So it's getting smarter and better with time. It doesn't get lazier with time. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, even the AI software engineer, I mean, y'all have to realize the times we're stepping into. Like, think of it this way. Each of you here that has an idea, let's say you have an idea for an app, or you have an idea for any type of startup business with technology. Usually, most people's concern is, man, how do I build it? And then usually you have to get a software engineer to build it. But then usually the software engineer wants to be paid either
A lot.
equity in the business, which deservedly they deserve it. I want to be clear. Either equity in the business, or they want to be paid, like Ash said, a lot of money. And I'm gonna be real, unless you're getting a software engineer that lives in a quote unquote third world country, you're not gonna get one in the US that's cool with you just paying them $10,000 a month, unless the work they're doing is minimal, which means it'll take longer to bring your idea into fruition. Versus you having a 24/7 software engineer that's built like, think of it this way. Whenever you're going to investors, because I want to be clear, most people, when you're building out a business and you want it to be very profitable, it's some kind of way you need to think about funding. And funding is not the same as revenue. Those are two different things. So you got to think about funding. Like, how are you going to get some form of funding? Now you can bootstrap and you can make the money yourself. But either way, at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, you are still going to need to look at some form of funding if you want to grow faster than competitors. Because if you don't look into funding, this is what will happen. Somebody else will have a similar idea, similar business. There'll be a competitor. You will say, I'm not going to take any money from investors. We're just going to do this ourselves. They're going to take money from investors, which is automatically going to give them 10 times the money that you have, to where they can hire more staff, more resources, better marketing, everything all in all. So either way, you're going to need funding. But when it comes to getting funding, whenever VCs or large investors look at you, they look at your team and they look at how dedicated your team are to building out the company. And the thing is, they'll look at your social media. They'll look to see if you're splurging a lot. They'll look to see if you just look like you're just trying to live this lavish life. What they want to see that your life is this business, that you're literally living in a cave working on this business. They don't want to see you living la vida loca. And so having an AI software engineer solves part of that problem, to where they know, okay, it's AI, but you have someone who's going to constantly be building out this product. They're not going to get tired. They're not going to get sick. They're not going to need a break. They're not going to complain. They're not going to want to raise. They're not going to post something on social media and then put the business in danger. They're not going to sell the company information to a competitor. They're not going to break any NDA clauses. It's like, it does so much for you. And so this truly is a major opportunity, again, to where it can level the playing field. It can level the playing field for those of y'all, especially if you're already in tech and you're making 6 figures. I say this often. Let's say one of you are in tech sales and you're making 150K, and you come together with a friend in tech, and maybe they're a business development person or they're a data analyst or whatever, and they're making 150K. Y'all make 300K a year together. The most expensive part of building out a new product in the tech industry is the actual software. It's the engineering part. If y'all are able to come together collectively, y'all each make about roughly $25,000 a month. Y'all can each put $5,000 of your own money into this. And I'm sorry, it said 10,000? Yeah, $10,000 a month. So y'all, each of y'all put just $5,000 of your money into it, to where y'all now have an AI that's building out the business for you, the software. Each of you are still keeping $250,000 of your money in the year, about $250,000 in a year. So y'all are still living y'all life while the AI is building it out for just $10,000 a month. One of you can focus on the vision of the business, growing the business, execution of the business. The other one can focus on the marketing, the branding, the blah, 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 things like that. And it's like, y'all really, and you know what's crazy? I don't know if it was Sam Altman. Someone recently predicted this, where they said we're about to reach an era where there's going to be a $1 billion CEO that has no employees. Their employees are just going to be AI. And we are actually almost here, like for real. Like I can't remember. There's a company, I'm going to look it up. There's a company right now that's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they don't even have like 15 staff members. Like they're really small and they're worth billions of dollars. So we look, y'all, this really is an opportunity where people could become a billionaire and you not even really have real employees. It's just AI employees. That's crazy. Crazy times. What are y'all saying? I see where it can help me. Ronan says, he says data collection on steroids, but it's an inevitable reality. Junior says they have something similar to that with Google called Do Browser. Oh yeah, the thing with the mouse is able to go around. Ronan, all right, Ronan has a question for you, Ash. He says, is it true that AI in its current form is very vulnerable to zero-day attacks?
Yeah, so basically just exploiting cybersecurity deficiencies. Absolutely. I think it's pretty much inevitable where, people are going to be vulnerable to attacks. All of us, all of our systems are going to be vulnerable to hacking and cybersecurity attacks, which is why cybersecurity in itself is a great industry to get into or to transition into. But most definitely, without a doubt, I'm not sure if there's any way that we can prevent these major cybersecurity breakdowns besides just, continuing to upskill in the field. So the government is looking into this. The government itself is trying to, have surveillance on the general population. And so in many different ways, we're going to see how that's going to be affecting all of us day to day. We know that OpenAI, I believe it's called WorldCoin, where one day they're trying to validate and confirm human identity versus AI, which is on the surface level a really great thing. However, we do have to consider that we are going to be giving up some freedoms when it comes to, opening up our systems to artificial intelligence and especially autonomous agents. So, hey, it's a give and a take, right? I love this question, though. Thank you. Great point.
A really good
So,
question.
yeah.
I found the three companies. So it's three companies. Each of them have less than 30 employees, and they're all worth billions of dollars. So Voltage Park, they specialize in cloud infrastructure for training and fine tuning large machine learning modules. They are, yeah, they're worth billions of dollars. They only have 23. It's a staff of 23 people. Then we have Inflection AI. They're an AI machine learning studio developing personal AI chatbots. Inflection has raised approximately $1.55 billion in funding while maintaining a team of just 24 employees. Compute North, a
Wow.
digital infrastructure company, manages substantial operations worth billions of dollars, only 10 employees. Now, catch this. All of their 10 employees are all the engineering team. So in reality, a company could create the same type of business, maybe not right now, but give it another 2-3 years. They could create a multi-billion-dollar company without this 10-person team of engineers, and it'd be worth billions of dollars. Y'all, look, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care. Like, this is a time where you can get it. The only I'll say this: the only people I give a lot of grace to are people in certain countries. Because even though, because living out here in Colombia, being here in Colombia, it's very strange. It's like they have access to the internet, they see everything on social media, but it's like to them, it's so ingrained in them that, oh, you have to be in America to do that, or you have to be American to do it. In a lot of these countries, they do have corrupt governments to where even if you did create something unique, the government would steal it from you, and there would be no power you could have. That's why the CEO of Alibaba, he's constantly, despite him being one of the richest people in the world, it's like he doesn't control everything he does. He still is under great control by China. And so it's like he can't move like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos can move, even though he should be able to move how they move, because he's the Jeff Bezos of China. He literally is that. But it's
Mhm.
like China has him under their thumb. So I do give grace to a lot of these other, but when it comes to like, yo, we're American, North America, it's like, man, the only two things I think that could keep us back is lack of education. And I'm not even talking college education, because I'm not college educated. It's lack of education, and it's motivation or inspiration, or really just having some level of exposure. And that's what we're doing here. And that's actually a perfect segue to ask y'all to hit the like button. Make sure y'all are hitting the like button, smash the like button, because what we are doing, I want y'all to understand, despite how many followers we have, despite how many followers Ash has, we are still in a vacuum on social media. Like, I know people see me and they're like, oh, Cyrus, you got hundreds of thousands of followers. Trust me, it's a lot of people, but it's not a lot of people. And so it's like we are in a vacuum. The way that y'all can help people is by showing more people our content, like liking it, sharing it, posting a clip or something that seems interesting, or you seeing us post a clip and reposting it. Like, shouts out to everybody that repost the clip and repost the content. Because in reality, when a young black or brown kid, when they see, most of them, when they see Sam Altman, when they see Elon Musk, when they see Jeff Bezos, most of them don't know who Sam Altman is. They know about ChatGPT, but again, specifically in the hoods, to them it's like that's not even anything that's for them. They feel like, man, that's not for me. That's what, man, or they think like, oh, they able to do that, man, because they just rich white people and they come from money. Which sometimes that's a little bit of truth to that. But it's like when they see our platform or they see other platforms, like they see Ash, most of them see her and they just think like, oh, it's a pretty black girl. And then they hear her talk and they realize, whoa, she's talking about AI and all this other stuff. Like, it truly opens doors and it starts expanding our community's minds to see what's possible. And so the same way when um, I saw I believe he was the first. He wasn't the first black billionaire. I think Oprah might have been the first black billionaire. But he, at one point, he was the richest black man in the world. Why can I not think of his name right now? That's actually crazy. That's what happens when you just being around people speaking Spanish all the time and not talk about American stuff. Somebody let me know in the chat. Y'all, I'm sure y'all know who I'm talking about. He owns a major equity investment firm.
Robert.
Yeah, thank you,
Uh,
Robert F. Smith. Thank you, Robert F. Smith. Yeah, so I remember seeing him and watching him speak at a relatively small event. It was only about 400, 500 people there. And I remember watching him speak, and I remember hearing that there's going to be a black billionaire at this event. And what's interesting is, like, when I heard that, it piqued my curiosity, but I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I was looking at a stage with a lot of black millionaires, multimillionaires. And then I remember when Robert F. Smith came out and he spoke. And I remember my brain started going haywire. My brain was like, this is a black man. He's a billionaire. And it's crazy. I didn't even think that it would affect me. But my brain was it rewired everything. I felt my neurons going crazy. Like, I felt everything getting rewired in my brain. And I left that event just so inspired. And I was in my early 20s at the time, but it did something to me. It planted a seed. And so, understand, y'all sharing the content, or y'all creating content like this, whether you want to create your own or share it, this is a blessing to people where it expands the minds of so many, so many. All right, so we gotta get to a few more of these comments, and I have to jump. I am way behind schedule for my day. So, great question, Trey. Trey says, are there any AI tax professionals? Somebody needs to come out. I'm sure somebody has that. Let me ask ChatGPT real quick. Is there a company with AI tax pros? Oh, Más o menos. So the tax companies that are already big dogs are, as we say this all the time, every company is becoming a tech company. So H&R Block introduced AI Tax Assistant, an AI-driven tool. Intuit's TurboTax, they just launched an Intuit Assistant, a generative AI financial assistant. Flynn, yeah, all of these companies, they doing it. They're definitely doing it. What's crazy, 2023, there's a guy, I was at a podcast, and the podcast, they own a tax studio. And I remember they had a sign up that said TurboTax Who. And when I left the podcast, in the podcast, I was talking about AI. And the guy who was interviewing me, he owned the tax company where they were basically trying to eventually compete with TurboTax. And I remember talking about AI, and some of the things I was saying were pretty basic, even for 2023. And I just remember he was so shocked. He was like, wait, you mean it's like, and when you're being interviewed, you know the difference between an interviewer that's acting shocked because they want the audience to be shocked versus an interviewer that genuinely is like putting their hand over the mic, like, wait, what? Is this for real? He was really shocked. And I'm kind of looking at him like, you didn't know this? Like, you own a tax business and you're not looking into AI. And so when I left and he reminded me of the sign about him beating TurboTax, I turned to him and I said, bro, all due respect, TurboTax is about to lap you 10 times over. I'm like, you're not even using AI. I was like, they're probably already implementing it. And the irony is that I'm reading this and it literally says 2023 TurboTax, excuse me, not yet, TurboTax introduced this AI software. So again, y'all, it's like we can't sleep on this technology, y'all. Like, tell your friends, your family, whoever, like, we cannot sleep on this. And I get it. Like, Ronan said something earlier. I believe it was Ronan, where he was like, yo, it's so much stuff coming out so fast. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I feel overwhelmed at times. Sometimes I'm like, man, oh, it's some new technology. I like it, just new stuff keep coming. As soon as you start learning something, something new comes out, and you're like, oh man, I just learned this thing. But it's one of those things, y'all. And let me say this to the men. I believe the same thing for the women, but I like to speak to the men regarding this. I liken it to back in the day when we were hunters and warriors. It's like when you were out in the wilderness, you could never lower your guard. Because if you lower your guard, a snake could come and bite you. If you lower your guard, a mountain lion or a tiger could come out of nowhere. If you lower your guard, a poisonous spider, the list goes on and on. You can't, if you're famished and you're hungry, you can't just grab any fruit off a tree and eat it. You have to inspect it, even if you're starving. Oh, or an enemy could shoot an arrow out of nowhere from it's like you constantly have to be on your P's and Q's. And I feel like we're back to those times when it comes to like staying on top of our profession, staying on the front lines. It's like it could feel exhausting and tiring, but it's like the alternative is the alternative is our children asking us why we didn't take advantage of this technology when it was there. Because at some point, the people who don't jump on this, it's going to be one of those things where the opportunity to be able to get out of poverty, I'm not going to say it'll be impossible, but it's like, man, it's like we've had like a good 20, 30-year window where it's like anyone could get out of poverty. But now we're getting into some times in the next 20, 30 years where almost no one's going to be able to escape poverty. Yeah. Ronan says the never ending learning story. Yeah, exactly. Trey Day says, I'm going to see if Gemini can do my taxes. It probably can. Hey, look, you got to prompt it. You got to prompt it and say, I'm not telling you to lie, and I'm not telling you I want to lie, but can you give me a scenario based on these financial report and these spending? Can you give me a scenario that a tax strategist that low key is willing to bend the rules? Like, that's how you got
There
to
you
prompt
go.
have it like bend the rules for you a little bit. basically ask it to act like Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. Be like, I need you to kind of finesse a little bit. All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, y'all. Look, I have to jump. Uh, again, I gotta kind of give a quick breakdown of a few things. Ash might or might not stay on here with y'all with y'all just for a little bit. But I do want to remind y'all again, we do have the Grown and Techie coming up again in April 12th. The last one sold out. This one already, we're getting near to 100 tickets secured for this next one. It's a little over 70. Probably by the end of the weekend is going to be at about 100 that are secured. This one is definitely going to sell out like the last one. We've updated our location with a little bit more space, but we know this one is going to sell out as well. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets to it. This event is covering becoming a millionaire in crypto. And I want to tell y'all, this is not about just investing in crypto. That's like, we all know that already. There's other components about crypto technology, working at crypto companies, getting equity in crypto, crypto coins, like all that. It's going to be a lot. There's also going to be a huge money making opportunity for everybody who goes there. Literally, everyone who comes to the event, within a week or 2 weeks of coming to the event, you're going to have made 10 times more money than the tickets to the event. To be clear, the tickets for the event are between like 20 and 40 bucks. Our conference last year, the tickets were about a little over $200. So this is significantly less, with more people, more recruiters, more networking opportunity, more ROI for you. So definitely come out, pull up, click the link, check the description down below so you can get your link, get access for that. Also, for anybody who's here, you're not in tech, you want to get in the tech industry, we have a tech quiz. Same thing, it's in a link down below to do the quiz and see what's the best career for you. Also, if you know what you want to do in tech and you already have education or you have the skills, but you're just not getting job placement assistance with recruiters and other leaders, we have a program where we're offering you job placement assistance, where we have recruiters and hiring leaders at some of the top companies in the world. We're talking Microsoft, Google, AWS, Oracle, IBM, Salesforce, SAP, Workday, and a few others, where we have recruiters and other leaders there actively working towards helping people that we're sending to them get job placement assistance. So make sure y'all tap in. Ronan says, will there be live stream option? Probably not. We did that last time and it did not work out well. So we need to restructure to make. I refunded everybody that got their tickets live stream option because it was so bad. I just at the event, I was sitting there. I said, we're just gonna refund everybody because this is horrible. I don't even need nobody to tell me they need a refund. We're refunding everybody. So we're gonna hold off on live streaming it until we get our ducks in a row when it comes to it. But other than that, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and jump. Click the link below. Also, make sure y'all tap in with Ash. If she doesn't say it, I'm gonna say it. Tap in with her to make sure y'all do get your AI consultation from her, whether you're a business owner, if you are a professional, or if you're just an everyday person and you need, basically, you'll tell her about your issues, your pain points, what's going on, kind of give her your issues in life, and then she will literally help you find like what AI, what solutions to use to actually make your life significantly easier by leveraging AI. So definitely tap in with her with that. Again, I'm going to go and I'm going to leave it up to Ash whether or not she's going to go over, talk to y'all a little bit more, go over some other topics, some other news. But I at least wanted to address y'all again. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Ash, I'll let you take.
Yes. Well said, Cyrus. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, you guys. Well, we're going to finalize with some crazy tech news, and then we're going to get into some questions, and then I'm going to let you guys enjoy this amazing Saturday. All right. So first and foremost, shout out to Derek. Good to see you if you're still in here. So I'm going to touch on a few of you guys' comments because we want to make sure that we're shouting all of you out. Trey says, Gemini, please don't Wesley Snipes me, right? Junior says, let me get a birthday shout out. Excited to meet you two at the next event. Yay, happy birthday to you, Junior. Yes, love that. Always says, I love that show. Better Call Saul. It's a classic. Jedi says, this was my first live. The presentation was very well done. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And glad to have you here. I'm hoping to see you again in the next one. And Education Entertainment says, am I late? You're not late, where the party's just getting started. And Jedi says, will there be a live stream option? We already covered that. Alrighty, always says we definitely need a live stream option. I'm gonna let Cyrus know if you guys want it, then maybe we can make it happen. So I'll communicate with him on that. And Jedi says, do you have a mentorship option? Not at this time, but hey, let's connect and we can definitely look into that. So tap into the link. Would love to do a one-on-one consultation. So I've helped people all over the world to transition into tech and to also enhance their current skills with artificial intelligence so that they are the top candidates. So if you're looking to get into a role within 6 to 12 months, then we can give you the guiding star of strategies and plans so that you can lock in. All right, you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tap into the last bit of news. Thank you to everyone who's still here. All right, you guys. So General Motors appointed their first chief AI officer. All right. So his name is Barack Turovsky. And this is an inaugural, that chief AI intelligence officer. And so what we're doing is really having an AI integration across electric vehicles, internal combustion engines, and also autonomous vehicle technologies. Oh my gosh, everyone's integrating AI. So you guys need to be integrating AI as well. All right, so we're going to touch on to the business benefits and also the real life implications. We're going to keep it real. Number one, on the business side, looking at accelerated innovation. Okay, this means that centralized AI leadership is going to be pivotal. We're going to be looking at streamlining the development of advanced automated technologies, and we're going to be looking into a future where other cars are going to be competing with Tesla. So if you guys, actually with Tesla in itself, I was an investor in Tesla stock. I actually sold off all my Tesla stock. Just because all the things that are going on with the controversies of Tesla itself. And so, there are different moves that we can be making on the market. That's one of the moves that I have made, choosing to instead invest in other organizations that stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also true core innovation and collaboration. So as far as operational efficiencies, you guys, we're looking at AI that's going to be able to optimize manufacturing processes. We already talked about supply chain management, of course, customer engagement. And so in the real world, we're looking at customers experiencing improved safety, performance, and also personalization of General Motors vehicles. Can you imagine being able to personalize your car? That'd be pretty cool. So with this initiative, this is going to set a precedent for all other automakers. So obviously, other companies are going to be in the future having chief AI officers, and perhaps the AI officer could one day be you. So you're gaining all of these AI skills for a reason. And so I'm going to touch on a few. Okay, so we have a few comments here. We're going to shout you guys out. So always says, thank you for relying that message to him. I got you. Education Entertainment says, I sold mines too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. You guys, when we were talking about selling off our Tesla stock, you know what I'm saying? We got to support and really come together at this time and collaborate with organizations that are really standing for the things that matter. So love that. So Darnell says, is Chief AI the same as CIO or CTO? So Chief Information Officer or Chief Technology Officer? I will say that there are key differences. So with artificial intelligence in itself, it is a very specialized field. So they're going to be specializing in, the machine learning technologies, data analytics technologies. And so it's going to all come down into how they can integrate AI into the business. And so although a chief technology officer can kind of encompass something along that, also the chief information officer can kind of align with those roles. Chief artificial intelligence officers are something entirely new. This is something that a lot of companies aren't even seeing yet. So they're ahead of the game. So you could also be ahead of the game with some AI skills. So the Jedi says holding off on EVs until they self-charge efficiently, right? I remember seeing, what was the movie called? Upgrade, one of my favorite high-tech movies. It was insane. You guys should watch it if you haven't. Essentially, the future situation where we have artificial super intelligence and we have those chips that are going to be put into our heads. And so the AI took over Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You just gotta check it out. The movie Upgrade, and in the movie, they had Teslas that went rogue, and so essentially, they crashed the car because they were able to hack into the vehicle. Ever since I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay away from the completely autonomous vehicles from now on into the indefinitely into the future. So I love that. Great point. And so Education Entertainment said, and boycott too, right? We only want to support the organizations that support our communities. So you know what I'm saying? We gotta keep it real. Yep. Love you guys' comments here. Education Entertainment says, I want to see Upgrade. It's on Netflix, I believe, still. So definitely got to check that out. Joel says, Upgrade was a great movie. Definitely agree. Yeah, you guys, if you want to see a realistic view into the future, then definitely check out Upgrade. So, all right, let's get into this next news so you guys can enjoy this beautiful Saturday. All right, so we discussed cybersecurity a bit earlier on. And so we're in the future now, and cybersecurity firms are now embracing AI as a core strategy. Everyone's embracing AI, right? And so essentially, we're talking about leading cybersecurity companies, including Palo Alto Networks, Okta, I'm not really sure exactly how to pronounce that one, and also a well-known one, CrowdStrike. So these are going to be emphasizing AI's critical role in enhancing security measures and defending against sophisticated cyber threats. So earlier we talked about the zero threat, which is something where people aren't going to be able to get around in the future. People are going to be hacking into systems, and we're not going to be able to necessarily prevent it. And so what this is going to do is offer proactive threat detection. Everybody should be looking into proactive threat detection for their own systems. And so in this context, we're looking at AI enabling real-time analysis and response to emerging cyber threats, reducing potential damages, and also resource optimization. Optimization is a key word here because we're looking at automation of course, those routine security tasks. This is going to allow everyone, especially those experts, to focus on instead complex challenges and improving overall efficiency. So this is going to be pretty insane. Can you imagine an AI agent hacker or an AI cybersecurity agent? I mean, it's gonna be pretty intense. So in the real world, you guys, we're looking at a future where we could hopefully have improved data protection. All organizations and individuals are going to benefit from enhanced safety protocols. And so we need to protect ourselves from data breaches and, of course, cybersecurity attacks, even from a national standpoint. This is key. The government's focusing on this. That's a top priority. And so when we're getting into the evolving threat landscape, we also want to keep it real on what you can expect. So cybersecurity threats are becoming more sophisticated. And so that means that AI-driven defenses are going to be essential. So if you're interested in many different fields within AI where you can pivot into, you know that cybersecurity is going to be high demand term. So most definitely you guys can look into that. So there's some other news, you guys, but I can't lie, it's not as exciting as all the other things that we have discussed. I will say that we also want to conclude with AI ethics. Okay, this is important. So we're gonna close it off with a few well-known AI pioneers really ringing the bells about security concerns over the rapid deployment of AI models without adequate safety measures. They don't currently exist. And so they're cautioning that prioritizing business incentives over, of course, thorough testing are going to lead to significant risks and threats. And so as business owners, we're looking at risk mitigation. You guys need to learn how you can adhere to ethical guidelines and prevent potential legal issues. And also, you want to make sure you're maintaining public trust. Also, sustainable growth. We're going to require responsible AI deployment, and this is going to make sure that you guys can have long-term viability and also acceptance of AI technologies for the customers and clients that you're helping. And so in the real world, we're focusing on public safety. We got to make sure that these AI systems are safe and reliable. And also, we want to maintain trust in this technology. So I want to go ahead and shout out a few of these renowned AI pioneers that are ringing the bell. So Andrew Barto and Richard Sutton, if you guys want to look them up. So these guys are actually taking a stand and speaking up about that. So you guys can continue to do the same. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and shout everybody out. Love that you guys have been so engaging in the comments section. So, all right, okay, everybody's about to watch Upgrade. Yeah, I might just, join this party and watch it again. So I'm going to get some popcorn and watch Upgrade again tonight because it's that good. Okay. All right, you guys, great comments, great engagement. If you have any last minute questions, feel free. Don't be shy to tap into the chat. Otherwise, make sure that you guys tap into those links. We already know how important cybersecurity is. We know how important artificial intelligence is. And there are a few key industries that are evolving and that are going to be hiring. And if you want to align yourself with the highest end, we're talking about future proofing your career, then what you need to do is tap into the event that's happening this April. And number two, tap in with me. So we can schedule a one-to-one and we can personalize your career path. But also, speaking about the event, we also know how fintech is a huge industry. And so with that, crypto technology is going to be huge. And so I'm not sure if you guys are investing into Bitcoin or crypto technology. However, most definitely should be looking into it. So this is going to be a major event, as you guys already know. It's going to be sold out very, very soon, faster than we anticipate. So you want to make sure that you're locking in that price earlier than later. But other than that, you guys, if you want to connect to me one-to-one, would love to do that. Would love to, continue the conversation and connect on LinkedIn. So you guys can search me if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, family. So you can find me at Ashley Robinson. That's first name, last name, and then PWC, standing for Price Waterhouse Coopers. And then I should pop up. Connect with me there. And also, if you want to connect with me on IG, I'm also at the Garden of Ash on Instagram. And so you guys know the future of AI agents. We're now building AI agents, now understanding the key importance of that, my own business models. And so if you guys are interested in learning how you can automate your workflows, maximize efficiencies, and also your ROI, then definitely tap in with me. If you guys are interested in one of the best fields, tech sales, then we also have one of the best boot camps, that is AI enhanced tech sales boot camp, that you guys don't want to miss out on. I believe the link should be down below as well. So, all right, you guys have some great questions here, great points. So Michael says, Michael P. Wright, if you want to know our future with AI, watch Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I've seen Prometheus, but I'm going to have to tap into Alien Covenant. I'm going to watch that one. Great recommendation. Always says, thank you for the movie suggestion. Always, of course. And also, with regards to proactive security measures, especially since so many of us are using AI assistants nowadays, do you have any suggestions on simple or easy basic steps we should be taking? Oh my gosh, this is great. So first and foremost, we want to focus on the AI assistants that we're using in itself. So there are AI agents that are integrations that we can put, for example, into our website. There are different automations that we can do for customer service. We can have automatic SDR, sales representatives that are speaking to clients, that are closing clients. But there are many different ways that AI assistants and agents can be deployed. So if it's an integration, typically there are security measures that are already put into that. However, when we get into browser, an AI system taking over your browser, of course, there are inevitably going to be additional security concerns if they're going to have access to all of your web data and information. So I would say to definitely want to start off by doing your research on the particular system. There are so many out there, but I love this question because we want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves first and foremost. So always with the great questions. But most definitely, any system that you're working with, you want to make sure that you're doing your research on that particular system. We don't want to trust AI off the bat up front, because especially when it's being run by external systems, or external organizations, we want to make sure that we can remain in control of our information. But I love this. This is a great question, and again, you guys' engagement has been excellent. I love doing this every Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. So Michael P. Wright says, David is what we're making. David, is that from one of the movies, from like which David confirm down below, but like an advanced AI humanoid. Most definitely, most definitely. And when we're getting into cloud computing, and now we're having neurological computing, so like a brain computer, not only an interface, but there is like a bio computer. Can you imagine that? Where apparently we can take our skin cells, or we can take different parts of our biome, and we can make it intelligent. How does that even work? I don't even know, but these are the things that are happening right now. This is to the point where none of us can afford to not learn about AI technology. So, a lot of us are already in tech. However, you can always enhance your experience with AI. And so, with that, these are going to be pivotal skills that are going to be in the highest possible demand. So, don't forget to tap in at the link down below. Let's connect one to one. Definitely looking forward to seeing you at the event as well to have these conversations. And so, Michael P. Wright from the Alien movie. Oh yeah, I still have to see that. I still have to watch it, but I got you. I got you. I'll watch it tonight, and then the next Saturday meeting and stream, we can definitely discuss all these movies. Always says, I missed the end, but thank you so much for the advice. Awesome. Yes, always here to help you guys. The Jedi says, the computer made from brain matter. Yeah, like keeping that, like, exactly, exactly. And when we combine it with limitless compute power, you guys. So I'm going to leave you guys off with a major piece of advice. Okay. A lot of people are wondering, how are we going to be successful in this era? What can we do? Here's the formula for success. Number one, we want to pick a problem. Number two, we want to build and deploy the solution. All right. So there's limitless amounts of problems that are out there, and you guys are capable of building with all of the technology as is available. Also, a good thing is AI, compute power in itself, is a depreciating asset. So that means that you can get access to all of these AI programs for cheaper than ever with the most power. So look into the systems and solutions that you want to deploy, and don't hesitate to be able to be a lifelong learner, to really gain the skills that you need to learn to thrive in this era, because we're not trying to be out here just surviving. We want to make sure that everybody here is set up to thrive. All right. So the Jedi says Skynet. It might just be coming, you guys, but hey, we can protect ourselves as much as we can. So learn about AI, and maybe we'll be able to build our own systems that can protect the community. So always says, I thought I missed the end. I didn't realize you were still live. Yeah, we're still here. We're still keeping it pushing. But most definitely, Trey Day says, thanks, Ash. Have a great weekend. Yes. And Joel says, thanks, Ash. Thank you guys. Thank you guys all for being here. And with that, if you have any other questions, feel free to connect with me personally on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And let's continue to build the future. A better world is in store, you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close out the live stream. Looking forward to you guys. Looking forward to hearing from you in the one-to-one consultations, and also looking forward to seeing you at the next event. So if you have any questions, tap in with me. And other than that, you guys, have a blessed Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Thanks always. Appreciate you.